Hi, I'm Montez Jones, and I'm speaking for the Empower series. We talked about finding your sweet spot today, your purpose, your passion, and your plan. And two of those are already in you. Your purpose and your passion is already in you. So we talked about your plan and moving forward to your plan. Your purpose, why are you here? Your passion, how are you feeling about that? What's the feeling in your passion? And then how do you move forward with your plan? What is something that you can do in order to find your purpose, your passion, and your plan? That's what we talked about in the Empower series, and I hope you enjoy this, and I know you will get something out of it. First of all, let me thank Clifton for inviting me. We had a good time yesterday. We're going to have fun today. And that I am possible. We're going to continue on that realm and on that journey of I am possible because I know you're possible. I also want to thank Comerica because they actually make this possible. So they are possible too. So thank you to them. I do want to say this. I'm humbled anytime somebody asks me to speak or teach or coach them or do whatever, because I kind of feel like Kendrick Lamar, stay humble, sit down. So I'm gonna be humble. I'm gonna give you what you need. But I'll tell you, when I speak and teach, it's up to you to get out of it what you need to get out of it. Everybody's not gonna get the same thing. And I'm available for questions afterwards. So I'm Montez Jones. I'll be your speaker for today. I've retired out of the military after 26 years of service. I started as a cop. You'll see a little bit about that in my presentation. Started out as a cop. Didn't like it too much. Went into equal opportunity. You all know it as EEO, Equal Employment Opportunity. Started doing that. Now I started teaching leadership school. After leadership school, because they kicked me out of leadership school, teaching leadership school after 4 years, I went back into EEO. And then I ended my career as a strategic advisor to generals and E9s in the Air Force out at Randolph Air Force Base. So that was my track. Once I retired, I tried to figure out what am I going to do. And I got a 9-to-5, but I figured out I had another passion. Got a 9-to-5 here in Fort Worth. That's what moved me to Dallas. I had what I call my dream sheet when I retired from the military. I had 3, maybe 4 places on it that I wanted to live, because really, being in the military, I really didn't have a choice where I wanted to live. So I figured, I'm free. I was free. So I had 4 places, and Dallas-Fort Worth was one of them. I was just blessed enough to arrive in Fort Worth working for the Army Corps of Engineers. So I quit them, and I started doing my business full time. So I own Montez Jones Training Solutions, as you see. I'm an executive director with the John Maxwell team. And I do personality assessment workshops, which is team building for a lot of different agencies. I do leadership development, et cetera, et cetera. You can read my bio. All right, so stay humble. Here we go. All right, so finding your sweet spot. Let's talk about that. Sweet spot. When I first started putting this lesson together, it came about as a talk. And I'm a sports fan. How many sports fans do I have? Okay, good. How many golfers do I have? No golfers? Okay. I'm going to teach y'all a little something about golf real quick. So when you play golf and you address the ball, left hand or right hand, don't make a difference. And I don't play that much. But what golfers tell me is you address the ball, you look, and if you want to, boast about it, you might say, yeah, I'm going to hit it there. All right. They address the ball. You get the right backspin, hip swing, et cetera, and you hit the ball and you hear a pop. And golfers know when that happens, when they hit the ball on the sweet spot, they know exactly where it's going to go, exactly how far it's going to go. So since I don't have any golfers, what about tennis fans? Okay, tennis fans. Now, Serena Williams, arguably the greatest tennis player ever, because she's the only one that won a tournament while she was pregnant. Come on, okay? So Serena Williams, as a tennis player, when she serves, right now, she is on target to have the most aces in tennis ever. So an ace is when you serve the ball and they don't hit it back, or they miss it so badly that they end up on a blooper reel. I call that an ace too. But when she throws the ball up, tennis players know if you hit it in the right spot of the racket, they hear a pop. They've hit it in the sweet spot. And Serena Williams will tell you, if you could talk to her, I bet you if you could talk to her, she would say, I know exactly when I'm going to get an ace. I'm a baseball player fan. I'm not a baseball fan, but I'm a player fan. So when I don't have anything else to watch and I'm flipping through the channels, I love to see, Bryce Harper, Aaron Judge. When Big Papi was popular, I would stop and watch them. I watched the Louisville Slugger. I'm from Louisville, Kentucky, so I like them to use Louisville Sluggers. It keeps the economy going. So I watch them, and they take a couple cuts, look. But when they swung and they hit the ball, Big Papi sometimes used to just throw the bat. He knew, pop. He hit it in the sweet spot. That sweet spot in sports is the same sweet spot that we may have in our lives. But in our lives, it's different because we know that our sweet spot is different than any sports figure. So when you look at your sweet spot, when you try to find your sweet spot, you have to find the things that esteem you, that make you happy. So, what is the sweet spot? As I start off, your sweet spot is finding that perfect balance between your purpose, your passion, and your plan. And it's that thing right in the middle. A philosopher once said, the two best days in your life is the day you're born and the day you find out why. That's part of your sweet spot. Because if you find out your why, then you find out where your sweet spot is. So think about where your sweet spot is, because your purpose, your passion, and your plan, finding that middle ground is your sweet spot. Okay? So here's my 3 main points. And as I go through it, I want you to ask yourself these things. Your purpose, why you're here. Okay. Why you're here, that's your purpose. Your passion. Your passion, actually, what do you love to do? And I'll put it a different way, what comes easy to you? And we'll talk about how to find your passion. And then your plan is that strategic being, that strategic objective that you're looking for. And my first slide said it all. What are you aiming for? Because as I offered to the folks yesterday, what is your definition of success? I spoke in Mississippi last week to some 14 to 21-year-olds. And I said, okay, let's start out with a baseline. What's your definition of success? And all of them looked at me like this. Why? Because they don't have a definition of success. Now, your definition of success can be different depending on who you're speaking to and what you're trying to do. Your definition of success is different than the definition of success with your family. If you're a mother, father, sister, brother, significant other, what have you, your definitions are different. So we're going to look at that continuum, and we're going to talk about how to find all those. So, let me say this. And here's how it goes. We operate on 3 planes of existence: thoughts, feelings, and actions. So our thoughts, feelings, and actions. Our purpose is a thought. We talked about thinking. I gave you an update on thinking. So your purpose is a thought. Your passion is a feeling. And then your plan is the actionable thing that you want to take and go down, your actionable road that you want to go down. So we're going to talk about thoughts, feelings, behavior, purpose, passion, and plan. Everybody say purpose. 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 Okay. So like I told you before, this used to be me. He's a little light-skinned, but I'm a little different. But I used to look like that. What I used to do in the Air Force when I first started was walk around planes to make sure that nobody steal them. And I thought that was kind of funny. I said, who's going to steal this big plane that I have to walk around? And then they gave me 15 planes to walk around and a line. And they said, if she comes past this line, break her down. Like, really? She gonna try to steal a plane. And then they told me, well, somebody might try to blow up the plane. Oh, okay, that's a different story. Now I feel like I got a purpose in life. Don't let them blow up the planes. We invaded Panama, so I was there before, during, and after. So I really felt like I did have a purpose. But as I was walking those planes, I was singing la-di-da-di, we like to party, we don't cause trouble, we don't bother nobody. But in my mind, I was thinking, I'm not fit to carry a gun for the rest of my life. And before I went to work, I had a 35 to 50 pound rucksack that I had to carry to the flight line to make sure I had all that. Wasn't my purpose, but that was what y'all call 9 to 5. I had to pay the bills. So I figured 4 years and I'm done. After 4 years of doing something like that, I thought, oh, I still got bills. I partied, I turned up, I got lit, I played basketball, and I didn't have a degree, but I had these bills. What am I gonna do? Well, another 4 years. Let me do another 4 years. But I was still doing this. You know what? Somebody saw me and said, hey, you know what? You look good in your uniform, even though you got all this on. How would you like to go to Scott Air Force Base and be a part of the elite guard? I said, I like to be well-dressed. Y'all see, I like to be well-dressed. He said, okay. Within a month, I had orders to Scott Air Force Base. Scott Air Force Base was the elite guard. The elite guard was a little different. We wore wool blue uniforms in the summertime. Only 1% of the Air Force wore those uniforms. Our weapons were 9mm cross-draw with pearl handles. We wore ascots before Roland Martin even thought about an ascot. People didn't like us. We were hated on by the other cops that were outside because we worked 6-hour shifts. 6-hour shifts, 5 days a week, weekends and holidays off. Yeah, nice, unless you worked the control room. Then I started working the control room. We had a bomb threat. And evacuate, evacuate, evacuate. Okay, everybody gone? When do I leave? You don't leave. This ain't my purpose. Something ain't right. This ain't my purpose. I'm supposed to leave too. But all through that, people kept asking me, telling me their stories, asking me for advice, having me do trainings and things like that. And I started to think, why are they asking me? I'm a low-ranking person. Maybe they think I won't tell anybody. That's it. I ain't gonna tell nobody because I don't want to get in trouble. Well, some of them took my advice, some of them didn't. People started going places, et cetera, et cetera. And I was thinking, like Serena, like Big Papi, like golfers, what's in my hand? What is the grand overall designer showing me? Is this my purpose? I don't know, because some of us run from it. No, don't talk to me. I don't feel like talking to you right now. I don't want you to vent. But I knew that wasn't my purpose. So I'll tell you one way to find your purpose right now. What's in your hand? What comes easy to you? If it's in your hand, don't run from it, because some of us know our purpose, some of us run from our purpose, Some of us go to our purpose and walk in our purpose, but some people look at it as that's a burden. If you look at it as impossible, and you change your sight picture to say, I am possible, then you can change your life. James Allen wrote this, and I love this passage. As a man thinketh. If you haven't read the book, I would tell you to read the book. Having conceived of his purpose, a man should mentally mark out a straight pathway to its achievement, looking neither right nor to the left. Doubts and fears should be rigorously excluded. They are disintegrating elements which break up the straight line of effort, rendering it crooked, ineffectual, useless. There's no and right there, folks, and I'll explain that here in a second. Thoughts of doubt and fear never accomplish anything and never can. They always lead to failure. Purpose, energy, power to do, and all strong thoughts cease when doubt and fear creep in. Let me tell you about this passage, because I've been reading this passage over and over, and it always speaks to me differently. Your purpose. We talked about how to find your purpose. We're looking at a man should mentally mark out that straight pathway of achievement. We're going to talk about that and plan. Looking neither right nor left. Now, what James Allen knew was once you mark out that plan, you need to have blinders on. Don't look left and don't look right, because what's going to happen if you don't have those blinders on, like I tell business owners, grow your business this way. Stop trying to grow your business this way and have lines of income, If it doesn't fit your giftedness, which is a whole different class, if it doesn't fit your purpose, your giftedness, your talents, then try not to do it. Unless you have a partnership with someone and allow them to do it. Love it. Empower. Empower them to do it. Because what happens is if you're not growing this way and you're growing this way, then it takes away from your purpose, gifts, and talents, because you got to spend time doing that. For Montez Jones, I went to a project management class. Why? Because the wind seemed like it was blowing toward project management. When I was in the Air Force, everybody was getting a project management certification. I spent 2 Saturdays, 10 hours a day in my room reading over project management, trying to do the assignments, et cetera, et cetera. And I was a single parent. My son is still a teenage grown person. That's a whole nother class too. But so he was like, Dad, you're going to come out and cook, man, get you some cereal. There's some hot dogs in there. At that time, he was old enough to do that type thing. After 2 weekends in a row in my room, I called University of Phoenix and said, how much do I have to pay you to get out of this course? It wasn't growing me this way. It was growing me that way. So I had to keep that straight line. I had to keep those blinders on, not looking left or right. But everybody was telling me project management's the way to go. That's the way of the future. Six Sigma. Go into Six Sigma classes. Go in. Okay. All right. Now what do? One is not as significant of a number. If I get a contract and I need a Six Sigma person to teach, what do? Hire them. You're right. If I put in this contract, how much do I have to pay you to teach Six Sigma? I can do leadership development. I'm not looking left or right, but I'm building my team because I already know somebody that teaches Six Sigma. I already know a human resource person. I can do EEO. Can you do labor relations? Got that team. Know my purpose. So I'm here, not here. So what's your focus? What is your purpose? Because this neither right nor left, so great, so great. So James Allen said, don't look right or left. But guess what? Even if you don't look right or left, what's going to come next? Self-judgment, doubt, and fear. Ain't that what it says next? Now, we walk down this straight pathway. I'm not looking this way. I'm not looking this way. And I get to the table and I see generals and E9s and I'm an E7, E8. And I'm thinking, why am I here? I ain't good enough. I can't do this. For you who are starting businesses, what usually happens? I ain't got enough money. I can't do this. Something. I need a building. I need brick and mortar. I need a website that costs LLC $700, $800 to get my LLC paperwork. Oh, I can do it online. That doubt and fear come in. Oh, I'm scared of this. That doubt and fear and self-judgment comes in. Because I'll tell you, yesterday after I got finished with the lunch and learn, I went to my car and I kind of downloaded and I said, you know what? I could have told them this. This would have helped them there. And then I said, oop, thank you, God. Appreciate it. I'm going home. Take me a nap. Why? Because I'm usually spent after I teach. That means I've given you everything I can give you if I'm tired. So that doubt and fear should be rigorously excluded. Rigorously means get it out and get it out quickly, fast, and hard. Exclude it, get it out. Okay? Everybody say exclude it. Okay. So they are disintegrating elements. So elements, have to get them out. Break up that straight line, because if you allow that doubt and fear to come in, you got left, right, and now doubt and fear is going to break up the straight line and it's going to veer you either left or right. And sometimes, like we all do, we go this way, backwards. We go backwards for the reason because we are comfortable. We get comfortable because we're not used to stepping into what God has given us. So we step backwards. So let me go back just a second, because I missed that word conceived. And that's a very, very, very important word. So let me digress. Conception. What conception means this. Everybody say conceived. Conceived. Okay, one more time, conceived. Conceived. All right, conceived means that you have to have a conversation and a partnership with the one that you believe created you, because that's the only one who can tell you your purpose. If you don't have that conversation, if you don't step into that relationship with the person who you believe created you, like I told you, I'm a person of faith. So I had to have that conversation with God to say, the grand overall designer, to say, what do you want me to do? What is my purpose? Because you put me here. Now, if you put me here, what is my purpose? You'll tell me. And then I'm hard-headed. I'm real hard-headed. So usually God just has to hit me real hard. I do something that I'm like, I know it's only you. So he put these things in my hand, and when people started to come to me, that was in my hand. So that conception part happened. That's how I got into speaking, teaching, and coaching. That's how I got to do what I feel my purpose is, because I know he told me. So we had that conversation, that conception of the purpose. And then we go on, and that straight line. And crooked, ineffectual, useless. It doesn't say and, it doesn't say or, because James Allen knew that all three will happen. And for you, you got to figure out, how do you expand it? Even at work. If you want to stay on a 9 to 5, God bless you. That's fine. But even on your 9 to 5, guess what? You got a purpose. So look at that, and then those thoughts of doubt and fear never accomplish anything. I'll skip down to that last line, because purpose energy We're going to talk about energy here in a second with your passion. And then strong thoughts cease when doubt and fear creep in. Here's a little story for you. I told some of this yesterday, but I'm going to tell a different part today. My mom and dad, their learning model in the age that they are go to school, graduate, either go to college or get a job, work that job until you retire or die. One or the other. That's their learning model. Now, when I was working for the Army Corps of Engineers, I had a 10-year plan. Being retired military, I work a government job for 10 years, I'll have another retirement. What a blessing. Okay, 10 years, I can do 10 years. I did 26 in the Air Force. 10 years ain't gonna hurt nothing. And plus, I had rules and things that govern me that I could tell people, that ain't my job, I'm sorry. You can't do nothing about it. So I was even better then. I was kind of rebellious because I had been following orders for 26 years. So I said, God, 10 years. He didn't say nothing. And I started just getting tired at work and some other things were happening with my body. And I said, okay, God, 5 years. I'm going to stack my money, 401k, and just let it ride out. I'm good. I ain't hear nothing. So I said, okay, here, you give me a sign of when you want me to quit. When do you really want me to do this? So I called a guy that I've been having this number for a year and a half. And when I called him, I told him what I did. I said, I do True Colors personality assessment workshops, team building, John Maxwell, et cetera, et cetera. He said, I want you to go to Galveston with us and I want you to teach. I've been teaching these folks for about 3 years, prime client. So I want you to do True Colors. And so how much are you going to charge me? And I told him. He said, okay. After the class, after we went to Galveston and I taught, I said, I want to learn what you do. I want to learn how you do it, how you get contracts, how you write them, how you negotiate, et cetera, et cetera. He said, well, let me tell you, the first thing, you underbid yourself. I said, okay. I said, do you understand this is an audition? He said, yeah. I said, well, audition, you usually get a half price, right? Yeah. Okay, so next time it's going to be more. So how'd I do? He said, okay, I want you in all my contracts. So I've been traveling with him doing different things outside of my company. That was my sign. So me and my mom, my dad, we take a cruise every year. So my thought was, I didn't have enough vacation to take the cruise on that particular year. So I said, I'll quit here, just ride out my vacation. And as I ride out my vacation, I'll go on the cruise, order a bottle of wine, we'll toast it up. I quit my job. 2 days later, my mom called my job. Oh, he quit. Y'all wasn't supposed to, I didn't quit. I'm still on vacation. She called me, and y'all know, if your parents are still living, they call you, they'll chat it up for a minute. And then I said, something wasn't right. And we had already hung up the phone. She called me back 5 minutes later. Oh, I heard you quit your job. And I said, yes, ma'am. Can you get Dad on the phone? I said, okay, here's why I didn't tell y'all. I didn't tell y'all because I wanted to go on a cruise. We eat dinner. We toast it up. Hey, I'm going into business myself. Here's my point. Strong thoughts cease when doubt and fear creep in. Everybody say creep. Creep. So I was talking to my mom and dad, talking to them. What's their learning model? Go to school, go to college, work until you retire or die. So what you gonna do for healthcare, son? Everybody say creep. Creep. I got TRICARE. I'm a retired veteran. I can go to the VA. So how you gonna make money? Everybody say creep. Creep. I do have a retirement. I got a cushion. Thank God for that. Okay? And plus, speaking, teaching, and coaching, I do okay. What else do I do? I referee basketball. Basketball in Texas is year-round almost. Right now, I'm counting in the off-season until September. When was my last basketball game? Last month. So, okay, I do that also. So streams of income, wealth management, here we go. streams of income, but it's still this way because my gifts and talents, I used to play basketball so I can ref basketball. I even go down to San Antonio to do men's games, so they call me to do that. So that was the second question. All right, so what if your company fails? Everybody say creep. Creep. Well, I don't believe in failure. I'm sorry. There was a guy on Shark Tank that said, I've never failed. I always collect data. So I tried a relationship issues class. Somebody gave me a classroom for her participation in it. 2 people showed up. Was that a failure? No, I collected data. So what do I do next time? What do I do when I have another class? I do things like Live to Lead. You have that on your commercial time, 30-second commercial. Live to Lead, you have that for people to grow. So I'm collecting data on classes and how to do mastermind groups and da-da-da-da-da. So that doubt and fear creep, because it comes in slowly. It usually don't hit you real hard. It's just like, creep, here it come, here, creep. Y'all remember Luther Vandross? Creep? Yeah, it happens. So that doubt and fear creeped in, and I was like, well, here's my question for you all. Will you support me? And they said, of course. And how do I involve my mom and dad in my company? When I have an idea, when I have a thought, and I take it to my inner circle, I take it to my mom. My mom is the queen of acrostics. You give her a word and she'll put 4 words beside it and be like, yeah, this means rear means reverse and equals and that. And then what I do, I'll put a couple words in front of it and I'll make it main points. What do I have then? I have a talk like with you all. So now she understands her learning model is changing. My dad's learning model is changing. Where did they retire from? Hey, can you call such and such and tell them this is what I do? That doubt and fear creeped in, but I kicked it out because I rigorously excluded it. So, for your purpose, how do you find your purpose? Like I said, what comes easy for you? That's 1. 2, what's in your hand? What do you have at your disposal that you can use that would say, this is what you want me to do? And you have to have that conceptual conversation, whether it be on your knees, whether it be in the bed, whatever you do with the person or the entity that you believe made you. How do you find your purpose? And then that last point, you have to embrace your purpose. Like I told you before, some people run from it. It'll catch you sooner or later. Some people run from it, some people run to it, and some people are so afraid of it that they don't know what to do. The ultimate story of entrepreneurship, a lot of people think of a little bit differently. The man or person that was given 1 talent, 3 talents, and 5 talents. 5 came back with 10, double what he or she had, whichever one you believe. 3 came back with 6, the one with 1 hid theirs. Some people say, oh, he didn't do right. He wasn't right. No, I think he was scared. Like, oh, no, I don't want that. I don't think that's right for me. How many of y'all have heard preachers that say, I ran for 8, 9, 10 years. I knew he was calling me, but I just didn't want it. Yeah, that happens. So whatever age you are, if you're ready to start your business, start it. Start it, but make sure it's in your purpose. Make sure it's in your purpose, because if it's not in your purpose, it may just be a passion. It may be something that you're feeling. Like some people love to sew, but it ain't their purpose. It's just a passion of theirs. Everybody say passion. 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 Give me some passion when you say passion. Say passion. Passion. Okay, so this passion is this feeling. I have a feeling I have a passion to help people. But here's the thing about passion, and this is the thing that kills me sometimes. I have a passion to help people, but when people say, hey, Montez, can you come and do? No, I can't. Well, I thought you had a passion. Oops. Hold it. Don't question my passion. I still got a mortgage payment. Okay. And then your passion also, passion is so different. Because passion will wake you up early in the morning, and it'll make you go to sleep late at night. Passionate people do things that non-passionate people do not. If you're a passionate person about helping people, be careful. I still want you to have that neither looking left nor right, because you can't help everybody. And when you try to help everybody, it's going to extend you too much. That's one of the things people always say, oh, I got a passion about that. You got a passion for helping people? Okay. So there was a young lady at the Army Corps of Engineers, and I sat down to talk to her. And she said, you know what? I said, so how you feeling today? I feel tired. Well, you know, every day I sit down and talk to you because we had to work together. Every time I sit down and talk to you, you tired. What's wrong? Is everything okay? Me, I'm a helping person. That's what I do. So tell me about what you do. Okay, you know what I do at work. I said, well, what do you do after work? Not trying to get in your business, but what is your passion? She said, I help low self-esteem girls and women. I said, so when was the last time you did that? She said, oh, it's been about 6-7 months. I said, well, let me take you through a little introspection real quick. I said, 6-7 months ago, when you were teaching low self-esteem girls and women, how did it make you feel? Oh, I felt great. I would go home and have so much energy, and it was helping me out, and I was helping them out, and I could see the change as they grew. And I said, you know what? You were working in your passion. You were hitting your purpose. You were hitting your passion, and it gives you energy. It gives you energy. So when you look at passion, it's a feeling, but it also gives you energy. The only way to find your passion is to be exposed to it. I can't have a passion for skiing if I never go skiing. You have to be exposed to it. And the only way to be exposed to it, walk out that straight line, not looking left nor right. And sometimes you try it and you say, it's not for me. It's not my passion. That's fine, because we all have passions in different realms. But it's that feeling. Passion makes you take risks. If you're not taking a risk, then it's not your passion. And I say risk, I'm not talking about you're going to go jump off a cliff. That's called excitement. It's not called risk. It's called, sometimes it's stupid if you're jumping off without a parachute. But for me, when I found out my passion, and then I said, okay, I'm going to quit my job, I had to jump off the cliff and build my wings on the way down. So I had this part of my company, and remember, I told you with the thought, you write it down. So I had my vision board. I had a house with the pillars of my company. So True Colors was one pillar. John Maxwell was another pillar. 7 Habits of Highly Effective People was another pillar. And guess what? I had to change that because 7 Habits cost too much. Not just for me, but for y'all. If I went into a company and said, let me teach 7 Habits, I was like, ooh. But once again, I figured this out. That was that doubt and fear creeping in. If a company wants 7 Habits and I'm certified, ain't no money is too big for Fortune 500 companies. So I had to rethink that. But that passion to help people was still there, and I was invested in myself. I had to invest in myself. Because if I didn't invest in myself, why would I come to your company or your company or your company and ask you to invest in me? It's goofy to think that a company will invest in you if you haven't invested in you. Sports stars have endorsements with companies of products they don't even use. You think Shaq can fit in a Buick? I looked at that, I was like, that ain't happening. Shaq ain't driving no Buick. But they used him to endorse their product. For most of us who own businesses, what is your product? Tell me. Huh? You are. And I didn't know that when I first started out. When I first started out and I had somebody design my webpage, there was a young lady on the webpage. When you first started up, Montez Jones Training Solutions, she was leaning against a wall with a book, and and here's my services. I wasn't nowhere on there. I called my web designer this year and said, redesign my webpage. Why? Because I'm the product. It's me. It's not True Colors. It's not John Maxwell. It's me. So say passion. Passion. Okay, how do you find your passion? You got to get out there and get it. You got to do it. You got to be exposed. You have to expose yourself to it. So if you expose yourself and you find out that this is your purpose, this is your passion, now you got to have a plan. Here's my acrostic, y'all. Y'all thought I was just playing about that, right? I wasn't playing. So you got to have these predetermined objectives. Some people say put objectives first. Some people say put goals first. I say objectives are your stair steps to goals, but I stopped having goals. You know why? Because if I have goals, then once I reach it, then I got to make another goal. So I continue with objectives. These are my objectives. I change my objectives maybe weekly, maybe monthly. How many people I want to talk to, how many people I want to interact with, how many people I want to network with, how many times I want to teach, speak, coach, et cetera, et cetera. So I always have objectives. I don't have goals anymore. But if you believe in goals, I'm good with you. That's fine. If you have goals, celebrate it once you get it. But you know what? Go out, turn up for a night, and get back on the grind. Just don't hurt yourself. So have those objectives, lay out your goals. And then adjust your priorities as needed. And when I say adjust your priorities, as you grow, your priorities should grow. Your responsibilities have to grow. Everything has to grow with you. For me, I only really fear one thing, and that's growing too fast, too quickly. But you know what I did to stop that? I built my team early. What do you do? So what do you do? Oh, you do? Okay. I got a contract right now that I'm going to make a phone call tomorrow for some actors to go in and start teaching a vital part of the military culture. And I come in and facilitate after they act. Why? I'm not really a great actor. Not my purpose. But can I hire you to act? If you can do it, let's rock and roll. How much you gonna charge me? I'll put it in the contract. If we get it, hey, we own it. So what are your priorities? I've already explained that notify your key people, right? My mom and dad, keep them in the loop. They might, and I'll tell you, family is a little different, because family will be the first people to tell you, you can't do that. It's not gonna happen. I knew you when you was, ain't that what they say? Yeah, I knew you when you was, but you know, as I was coming up, I remember my mom, my dad, well, I wouldn't say my dad. My mom, my brother, and my sister used to call me Education Speaks. And I used to hate it. And now I call my sister and say, yeah, I'm speaking for the Empower series. Education speaks. I'm speaking. You got it. You spoke it into existence. So notify your key people. And I'm not gloating to her. I'm just having a little laugh. But notify your key people. So you got your purpose, your passion, and your plan. Say plan. Plan. You got to have a plan. For you entrepreneurs, I'll tell you right now, you have to have a marketing plan, a strategic plan, especially if you're going to have a business and you want to go into somewhere and get a loan. You got to have that plan. They're going to want to see it. And if you look on the back of that Live to Lead flyer, Glenda, she's a commercial lender by day, but by night she helps people to get their portfolios in order before they have to go to the bank. So you can give her a call. She helps you with that plan. And that's one of my business partners, one of my team members. So notify your key people. Here's your acrostic for your plan, because you got to have one. Let me show you this, and then we'll end it up. Yep. Thank you.
The 2012 Jeep Wrangler. Winter doesn't stand a chance.
Let me ask you, who put that Jeep Wrangler up there? Who put it on the mountain? Who? It's an easy question, y'all. Who put the Jeep Wrangler? Huh? Jeep. Okay. Who makes Jeep Wranglers? Jeep does. Jeep put it up there. Okay. So think about this. Jeep would not have put that Wrangler at the top of that mountain if Jeep didn't know that it was going to go down the mountain and get caught and know it could get out. Right? Whoever you believe created you, God, grand overall designer, would not put you on a mountain, would not give you a purpose, a passion, and tell you to make the plan if he didn't know that you would have to go down the mountain and you was going to get caught by an avalanche and know you could get out. So you have to think about those doubts and fears and what is holding you back from your purpose, from your passion, and how do you make that plan? Because I'll tell you, the purpose is already in you. It's a thought. The passion comes out of you in a feeling, which is that feeling that you have, but you have to make the plan and you got to make the steps. The great thing about it, and this is what I love about this lesson, all of this that I just taught you, two of the three are already in you. The last part is on you. But when you have that thought, doubts and fears are going to creep in. And every time, remember, if you step forward, you risk something. If you step back, you go back into comfortability. I'll end it with a real life scenario. Southwest Airlines. What is their slogan? Give me some things you know about Southwest. Huh?
Bags fly free.
Bags fly free.
Yes.
Good.
There's no assigned seats.
No assigned seats. What else? Good price points and what else? Want to get away. So if you want to go get away, you go to Southwest. Now, when you go to Southwest counter, at Southwest, their attendants do what? Hey, how you doing? Nice to meet you. Yeah, okay. You want to get away? We got you. Here's your bags. All right, go to gate, da-da-da-da. You go to the next counter. What's the attendant like? Really kind of the same way. You get on the aircraft, they're kind of the same way. When has Southwest pulled somebody off a flight that you know of? When has a scorpion dropped down on somebody on Southwest? Southwest don't have, they really don't have those snafus like the other ones. So if you look at their purpose, you can go to their website, look at their purpose, look at their passion, because it flows down. And then what's their plan? All their aircraft are the same. Focus. They don't go left or right. It flows. So 2 of those 3 are in you. Southwest, I believe, does it correct. Everybody don't like Southwest, but I like their model. Their model is great. So for you, what is your model? You're selling you. You're selling your brand, which is actually another lesson. I do have a brand lesson. So here's what you do. Figure out what's in your hand for your purpose. Figure out what comes easy for you, because that's your thought. How do you feel about it? Your passion. You have to be exposed to it. And then you got to step out and do your plan. Purpose, passion, plan. Thank you so much. Yes, sir.
First of all, I appreciate you talking, appreciate your service, also serving in the Air Force.
Thank you for your
I guess
support.
for me, I'm pretty sure I'm on the path in terms of my purpose. Birth out of adversity. So I guess the question is, what are some ways in which you can try to get that purpose discovered sooner? Because I work with young folks as well. What's a way to kind of unearth, passion, purpose? To unearth it, you have to continue. The passion, like I said, continue to expose them. Because if you don't continue to expose them and you don't continue to care, then they'll leave. So the caring is one thing. For their purpose, they have to find that. You can exhibit your passion and you can lend it to them. But see, when we're exposed to something, and I'll tell you for your young folks, tell them, watch out what's going in their ear and eye holes. Because if you are with them for an hour, and for us, our minds are usually set. So for me, when I go to the gym, I may listen to some rap music. I can't understand all the lyrics, but I know when they say certain words. So if that's what's going in my ear holes and my eye holes, it's going to come out as an action. But if they hear you for an hour, and for the other 9 hours that they're awake, they hear that, you're going to get drowned out. So the thing is to continue to care, continue to come back, continue to allow them to see that somebody can do what they want to do, because you know your purpose and your passion, and continue to work with them on their plan. But here's what I told them yesterday. What is their definition of success? Have them write it, have them have it pictorially. What is it? Everybody can't be a rap star, basketball player, or football player. But they can't own a team. I get tired, I really get tired of going to the barbershop and seeing somebody your height. What are you, about 6'1"? Six even. 6 even. Yeah. 6 foot and up. And the first thing they ask the kid, oh, you play sports? No. What's your grades like? Change the narrative.
Yeah, you got to change the narrative. Because if you ask them how are their grades, and they say, oh, I got like a, Okay, school was just out. What was your GPA? Had a 9th grader yesterday, day before yesterday, when I went to go get a haircut. He was going into the 9th grade. Oh, can I get a haircut real quick? I got to go to football practice, 2:15. Yeah. So my barber said, oh, so you playing sports? I said, no. What's your GPA? He said, I had B's. No, what's your GPA? You going into the 9th grade. What's your plan for 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th? Because are you going to college or are you going to get a trade? Let's start this now. So I'll tell you one other thing you can tell your kids. Do a spreadsheet. Top 3 colleges they want to go to. Just for gee whiz. If they don't want to go to college, that's fine. But do the spreadsheet anyway. This gives you a pictorial, for the kids that I mentor, I tell them to do this. Top 3 colleges you want to go to their website. How much does it cost to go each year? What's the GPA you have for admission? What's the SAT? What's the ACT? What about dorms? What about food? Have them put that in a spreadsheet and put the logo by that college, it gives them something to shoot for. If you are a sports star, I always tell people, if you got an 8th grader playing basketball, they're not going to get an WNBA contract in the 8th grade. So tell them to chill out. Parents, chill out, please. Y'all make it hard for refs, I tell you, especially in the 8th grade. But if they are that good, I had a pastor that told me, yeah, I got some 8th graders. They could go to the NBA. Yeah, okay, cool, pastor. Pray on it. But what I'm saying is, have them pictorially. We work in pictures, so have them pictorially look at that. And then that also helps the parents, because now I got a focus of what my child may want to do. Now that's going to change 9th, 10th, 11th. That probably will change, but it'll give them that plan. We're going backwards now, because most children don't know their purpose. They know a passion because they see LeBron on TV. They see Ezekiel doing what he does. Excuse me, I wasn't supposed to mention him, was I? But y'all know. So, okay, does that help?
Yep, that's good.
Okay, all right. Any other questions? Yes, sir.
So there's a lot. I don't know if any of you are thinking like I am, but there's so much little pieces of what you share.
Mm-hmm.
And if you were going to give us an action, like at least one action to take, what would that be?
Out of this?
Yeah.
One, I would tell you to invest in yourself. Invest in yourself. Continue to grow. Because I think a lot of times we get complacent, not just with our jobs. I make $70,000 a year and I'm comfortable. My mortgage is paid, this is paid, I'm good. And we get complacent. And then when somebody comes and says, you know what, I'm gonna offer you a promotion. No, I just wanna sit here. My chair is comfortable. Some of us have chairs that have butt prints that just make us feel like we're real comfortable. Don't get complacent. Get comfortable, but don't get complacent. Continue to invest in yourself, continue to grow. And a lot of us say we're open-minded. What does open-minded mean? Open-minded means that you and I can talk and you have a different opinion. But the other part of open-minded is, and I listen to your opinion, the last part we don't do. Do you challenge your opinions and behaviors because I got a different opinion? We don't do that. A lot of us stay in our box. And I'll bring up the national scene right now. I go from CNN, MSNBC, and Fox. I listen to all three of them. I don't understand all three of them, but I listen to all three of them. And I challenge my thoughts. And then when I sit around a round table with corporate executives and they're talking about different things, I can understand where you're coming from, as well as, hey, here's where I'm coming from. How can we meet in the middle? And how can we have this round table discussions? Because I have round tables with people in corporations. And what's the main thing that comes up is what's going on in the world. What's going on in the United States. Okay, well, here's the round table. You have to understand where I'm coming from. I understand where you're coming from. Let me challenge my beliefs because I've invested in myself. You've invested in yourself. You challenge your beliefs. And let's see how we can make a partnership and make this team work. So invest in yourself. Yes, ma'am.
So you talk a lot about networking and building relationships. So if as a person who may be challenged in that area, what would you say to them as far as put themselves out there and going and meeting people and put themselves in other areas they may not be comfortable in, but in learning how to form relationships and not being out just for self, being out for you and what this person can do for you, but really seeking to know that person and seeking to, okay, well, how can I do this? How can I invest in this person? How can I help that person? and keeping them in mind when somebody else comes up, you meet somebody else somewhere else, they might need their, services. So how do you go about doing that?
Okay, you asked about 3 different questions in one, but I'll take them all. I'll try to take them all. For one, a relationship is, my definition of relationship is how you relate to someone and they're taking you on a journey, ship. So me and Clifton, like he said, we have a relationship. We didn't know where it was gonna go, but when we sat down at Shell Shack, that's my shout out for Shell Shack, because I love Shell Shack. Matter of fact, we're having a pre-Live to Lead event at Shell Shack on the 31st. It's free. You'll see it on Facebook. But when you relate to somebody that's taking you on a journey, networking, if you're not networking, you're not working. And that's even on your 9-to-5 jobs. Because here's the thing I realized. As EEO, I used to have to sit in interview panels as EEO to make sure them folks didn't ask how many kids you got. Is your husband or your wife gonna be okay if you have to work late out? Them stupid EEO questions that people. So one thing I realized, when I was in the military, I didn't like FaceTime. I gotta come up and say, hey sir, how are you? I'm Montez, good, okay, that's FaceTime. I was here, hey sir, I'm Montez, okay, all right, FaceTime. Networking is the same way, because at your job, all things considered, we have 2 resumes in front of us. What's your name? Naja. One is Naja's, one is Arnold. Both of y'all have the same exact resume, say all things equal, Naja and Arnold. I've seen Naja. I haven't seen Arnold at all. Can I get in trouble if I choose Naja? No, I can't. So networking, if you're not networking, you're not working. Here's how you do it. Hi, how you doing? I'm Montez Jones.
Hi, I'm Nadia.
Nice to meet you. Hi, how you doing? I'm Montez Jones.
Hello, I'm Nadia. Nice to meet you.
Okay. Hi, how you doing? I'm Montez Jones.
Hi, I'm Nadia.
Okay. Now, I've done that 3 times, and when I come up to Clifton, hey, how you doing? I'm Montez Jones. Why is that? We work in pictures. Naja, your picture comes up. That's how we network. If you don't network that way, you're not working. And if you're an entrepreneur, networking is the lifeblood of what you do. Now, also, the second thing to networking, it's a whole nother class, but that's okay. Boy, I'm giving you a lot. No. Second part to networking, it's not what you do. It's what they do. How to win friends and influence people. And then also, that was Dale Carnegie. He says, get more into them than them into you. So when people say, oh, what do you do? I do leadership and development training. What do you do? Where are you from? How's the training in your organization? I take the focus off me and put it on them, because what you want to do is you want to get into how you can help them and not how they can help you. Now, Clifton and I, we did a little backwards, but hey, if you're at a networking event, I was at a networking event Thursday night with the Black Human Resources managers, folks somewhere. You can look on, it's so many networking events, you'll spread yourself thin, but you have to pinpoint who you want to network with. And then I promise you, after that, people will start to know you. Also, influence. The way to influence people, sometimes you don't have that influence. Like I was telling them yesterday, the way Clifton and I met, he was there to meet Magic Johnson, and I was too, actually, but Jim Austin from Fort Worth, commercial lender from Fort Worth. I had met him through Mr. Charles Jackson. Mr. Austin, I used his influence to get in the Fort Worth event because I couldn't get in. He called me and said, hey, would you like to work my table? Yeah, I know I have my company, but see, using his influence, I was working his table, but here's how you do it. All right, Mr. Austin, you want me to work your table. Now, you know I have a company. So is it the correct protocol to hand out my business cards? Man, do your thing. Just hand out mine, but you can hand out yours too. Use my protocol. Cool. So I went around, as I was working his table, I'm Montez Jones. Here's my card. Here's Mr. Austin's card. Da-da-da-da. I'm still in his influence. Here comes Clifton walking. Here's Mr. Austin. Mr. Austin says, you need to know him. We exchanged business cards while he was chasing Magic Johnson. And we finally got together. Sometimes you don't have the influence, but you can ride the coattails of other people's influence. So don't always try to blaze a trail. For your young folks, oh, I got something that'll blaze a new trail. What new trail? It says there ain't nothing new under the sun. Even with technology, people think, oh, all this is new. Well, I don't believe it's new. It's just new thoughts. So use somebody else's influence. Don't try to blaze a new trail. Get behind somebody and learn everything they can do. The guy I work for who brings me in, I'm trying to get him to bring me in the boardroom as he does his negotiation. I'm getting better. But hey, we'll see. There we go. Does that answer all your questions?
Yes.
Okay. All right, cool.
Hi, I'm Tamika Washington. I'm walking away with a lot of nuggets today, and his message was very rich, and he talked about taking the risk and being able to identify what's in your hand. And once you've identified what's in your hand, how do you execute that, and what is your plan, and how are you going to incorporate that in your life? And really, the second nugget is about purpose. What is your purpose, and identifying what your purpose is? And so that has been rewarding to me today. Walk away with not being complacent, being able to step out of your comfort zone and being able to take risks. That purpose is about risk taking, and then being settled in that once you are walking in your purpose.
Hi, I'm Wasanda, and I have been coming to the series since it started in 2011. Clifton brought in Dr. Kimbrough, and it really inspired me to take my life to the next level and to basically get my finances in order, and also to be an entrepreneur that I always wanted to be. So by doing that and coming to the series, it empowered me to take action and step out and start my own fitness boot camp through Texas Fit Chicks. And now I'm working towards training for a competition and then going on and doing more businesses in the fitness industry. So Clifton and Empower Series has really been effective in my life, and I'm really happy for it, and you should try it too, and come check it out.